If you walked into a Starbucks 3 years ago, you smelled coffee. If you walked into one today, you mostly hear noise. Printers jamming, blenders screaming, and a wall of people standing awkwardly near a counter, waiting for a name to be called. It doesn't feel like a coffee shop anymore. It feels like the baggage claim area at a busy airport. Most people think Starbucks is struggling because coffee is getting too expensive or because the competition got better. But that's not the real story. The real story is about what happens to a business when you let an algorithm design your operations instead of a human. It's a classic case of an operating model mismatch. And if you are leading a team or a company right now, you might be making the same mistake without realizing it. Now, we've all seen in the corporate world, you have a strategy that says customer experience is king, but you have an incentive structure that says process transactions faster. It's like trying to drive a car where the front wheels are steering left towards luxury experience, but the back wheels are powering right towards fast food efficiency. Eventually, the axle snaps. This is exactly what happened to the world's biggest coffee chain. They tried to be a tech company and a hospitality company at the same time, using the same floor plan. Now, in my 13 years working on large-scale transformations and enterprise strategy, I've seen this pattern destroy more value than any recession ever did. We call it the complexity trap. It usually starts with good intentions. You have the growth, the speed, and the digital adoption, but it ends with a broken culture. Today, I want to break down the invisible mechanics of this failure and, more importantly, how you can avoid it. Now, to understand the Starbucks problem better, you have to ignore the logo and look at the factory floor. Imagine a high-end restaurant kitchen. It's designed for flow. The chef makes the steak, the sous chef preps the sides, and it works very well because the menu is controlled. Now imagine if the customers could rewrite the menu in real time from their phones while sitting in traffic. Suddenly, the chef isn't just making steaks. He's making a steak, but with whipped cream, 3 pumps of vanilla, and it needs to be cold, not hot. This is what the mobile order did to the Starbucks operating model. Here is the strategic error. They allowed unconstrained demand to hit a constrained supply chain. Now, in plain English, the app allowed millions of customers to customize drinks with infinite complexity. Lots of people ask something like, I want cold foam, 2 shots, oat milk, upside down. But the physical store, that hasn't changed in 20 years. The counter is the same size. The espresso machine has the same capacity. So what happened is you have a digital funnel that is massive, pouring orders into a physical funnel that is really tiny. Now, why did leadership let this happen? Because of the scorecard. For the last 5 years, the metric that mattered was mobile order adoption. If you got people to order on the app, you get the data. You get loyalty, you get recurring revenues. But no one was measuring the cognitive load on the barista. Think about it like a highway. Management celebrated because they added 10 new lanes of traffic entering the city, which are the extra orders from the app. But they didn't build any new off-ramps, which is the plan to deliver those orders. So now you have a traffic jam inside the store. Now, in a moment, I'm going to explain the specific fix for this, and it's going to sound counterintuitive because it involves actually saying no to money. But first, we need to look at the second silent killer, which was the menu creep. When you don't have a clear strategy, you try to be everything to everyone. Starbucks started adding energy drinks, refresher beverages, complex cold foams. They stopped being a coffee shop and started being a liquid factory. Here is the operational rule of thumb. Complexity kills speed exponentially, not linearly. What that means is if you have 5 items on a menu, your team can work on muscle memory. They don't have to think. But if you have 50 items with infinite modifications, every single order requires a decision. When a barista has to stop and read a sticker that looks like a pharmacy receipt just to make one drink, you have lost the war. You have turned a human connection into a data processing task. Now, this also brings us to the third place concept. This was Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks' original vision: home, work, and Starbucks, which is the third place, a place to sit, smell the coffee, and relax. But you cannot have a third place if your operating model is designed for grab and go. The furniture changed to hard wooden chairs. The counters got lower to facilitate handoffs. The noise levels went up, and they designed the store to make you leave, not to make you stay. They optimized for the spreadsheet, but they destroyed the soul of the asset. So, if you are the CEO or if you are a leader facing a similar problem in your own business, what do you do? How do you fix an operating model that is at war with itself? It's not about better marketing, it's about structural discipline. Here are the three principles that I would apply for this transformation. The first principle is about putting cap on complexity. First, you have to cap the complexity. In the app world, we think choice is good. In the operations world, uncontrolled choice is poison. A strategic leader needs to say, we will not offer modifications that slow down the line by more than 10%. You have to curate the experience. Now, Apple doesn't let you design the iPhones. They give you the best iPhone. You need to guide the customer and not just take orders from them. The second principle is about segregating the flow. If you want to do high-speed digital orders as well as in-store luxury experience, you cannot do them in the same square footage. It's like trying to run a peaceful yoga class in the middle of a chaotic stock trading floor. The solution is asset separation. You need dark kitchens or pick-up only windows that handle the mobile volume, completely invisible to the customer who is sitting inside. Protect the peace of the in-store experience by physically walling off the chaos of the digital order. The third principle is about changing the scorecard. If you bonus your store managers on throughput, which is the speed, they will treat customers like cattle. If you bonus them on throughput, don't be surprised when they stop making eye contacts. We need to reintroduce friction metric. We need to measure how calm is the store, how often does a barista smile. These sound very soft, but in a premium business, they are the only things that justify your price point. If I can get a latte faster and cheaper at a gas station and the experience is the same, why am I paying $7? The lesson here isn't about coffee. It's about the dangers of letting efficiency metrics hijack your strategy. When you make it too easy to buy through an app, but too hard to deliver through the operations, you don't get growth. You get burnout and eventually you get churn. Starbucks is now trying to pivot back. They're simplifying the menu. They're bringing back the ceramic mugs. They're trying to slow down to speed up. I want you to look at your own team or your own business this week. Ask yourself one question. Where are we optimizing for a spreadsheet result that is actually destroying our customers' experience? Most leaders don't realize they've built a trap until they're already stuck in it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, I discuss operating models and strategy every week. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you.